1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hi, sorry to leave you hanging there. My name's Giordano. I'm doing a series of jazz instructional videos for musicians. I do some intermediate ones, some advanced. This one is more on the advanced side, and I'm titling it Time and Space. It's kind of a Cosmos name, but actually it's a good name for what it is, because I'm going to talk about something that gets lost often with in the studies of music, which is accompaniment, comping we call it for short. I counted this off because I wanted you to know where one was and be able to sort of follow the pulse that I was doing. And those of you who are familiar with the composition that I used, which is the standard Stella by Starlight, could have probably guessed that that's what the tune was. So a little bit of the philosophy here behind this video is usually musicians, when they think in terms of accompaniment, they think about a role that they have to play. And I want to kind of free that up a little bit in this discussion. And one of the things is that I don't feel like we have to have a responsibility to create time when we are comping. We more or less would say that let's play off of the time that's already created. So if you take that responsibility away of trying to create the time, that means like play every beat or play on the downbeats. Then if you just free yourself up with that, a lot more can happen from an interactive standpoint, and also dynamically as far as what chords to use and how to voice lead and whatnot. Once the time is set, when I count this off, 1, 2, 1, 2, etc. Once that time is set, we are all participating in that time, whether I play it or not, whether I define it literally or not. We're playing off the time. So again, that translates into a sense of freedom and interaction. So instead of creating the time, I might do something like this: 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I'm not playing large chords all the time. I'm learning how to condense the chords that we play. If we look at the first chord as E minor 7 flat 5 to A 7th, sometimes I just play the A 7th. It's really on the same side of the polarity. But since we might play a certain voicing like this, we don't have to feel responsible to play the bass note all the time and to play all 4 parts. I can do simplify it by doing. You also notice another point that I want to bring up in this is called voice leading. So that means that I want to take the top note that I feature, or moving note. For instance, if it's a moving note, it's going to be maybe on the bottom. But when you first start thinking this way, I suggest that you look at the top note of any chord. So in an F minor 7th, F minor 9th, B flat 7th to E flat, you can have something as simple as, and that represented this. It represented all that in just a small way. The voice leading, as you heard, was. Now the outside part of that could be. And you hear there's always a voice or melody note, or think of it like a string line, that's governing my my choice of harmony. So again, another way of hearing this is. From the beginning of the tune, that could very well happen, and that is voice leading. Now that's pretty much being on the downbeat, but in a situation where you don't create the time, you can do something like this. Even a little melody strand like that, if somebody's soloing, if you're playing interactively, could actually could work, and you could benefit from doing that. So open up your thinking as far as accompaniment. Let the time be there. You don't have to create the time, but more play off of the time. I'm going to take you through this tune, pretending someone's soloing once again, and I'm going to play pretty sparse, and see if you can you mimic some of these ideas. I'm going to try to use pretty familiar chords. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. See the textures? Now you don't want to be too dogmatic about it and take like a solo chord melody while somebody's trying to solo. In other words, I'm not going to go. I mean, that's ridiculous. To do that would be taken away from the soloist. What you want to do is get rid of the sense of responsibility, be right in the tune, and look at accompaniment as colors and textures that you're just there, and you'll be interactive, and the soloist will also be able to interact with what you're doing as well. And it'll open things up using smaller chords. Pick your spots to use a big full chord, and I think your whole interactive way of playing will open up. Thanks.